I took an Ancestry DNA test for fun over the holidays, expecting maybe a surprising percentage from some country I didn't know about. Instead, the very first line of my results said something that made no sense at all. 0% shared DNA with the man who raised me, the man whose last name I've had my entire life. Then I scrolled further, and things got so much stranger. Sitting in my results, waiting for me, were 17 separate people listed as my half-siblings. 17. This is how I found out my entire family had a secret nobody ever planned on me. Discovering. My name is Emma. I'm 29. My dad, Richard, taught me to ride a bike, walked me down the aisle at my cousin's wedding when my own date bailed, and has called me kiddo my entire life without a single day of irony. If you'd asked me before this Christmas to name one thing I was completely certain about, it would have been that man being my father. I took the DNA test because my roommate got one as a white elephant gift and didn't want it. I mailed the tube back mostly as a joke, expecting a fun little pie chart of ancestry percentages to send to my group chat. I did not expect to spend that night sitting on my bathroom floor at 1 a.m., reading and rereading a single line of text, waiting for it to somehow mean something other than what it very clearly meant. Once I had the ending, I couldn't stop replaying small moments from growing up that I'd never once thought twice about. My mom used to get strangely quiet whenever people said I had my dad's eyes. She'd just kind of smile and change the subject to something else entirely. There was a specific drawer in my parents' filing cabinet I was always told, casually, not to worry about. Old paperwork, medical stuff, nothing interesting, she said. I never once tried to look. And I remembered vaguely being maybe 11, asking why I didn't have any baby pictures of my mom pregnant with me, just photos starting from right after I was born. She said the same thing every time. The camera from that year had gotten lost in a move. None of it seemed like anything on its own. It only became a pattern once I already knew what I was looking for. I didn't say anything to my parents right away. I needed to understand what I was actually looking at first. I spent the next 3 days going through the DNA site obsessively. The half-sibling matches ranged in age from 26 to 31, almost exactly clustered around the years my parents would have been trying to have a baby. Several of them had already found each other months earlier and built a private group chat, which one of them, a woman named Priya, added me to almost immediately after I reached out. Reading that group chat was surreal. 14 strangers, scattered across 4 different states, comparing childhood stories, medical histories, even facial features over video calls. All of us, it turned out, conceived using the same anonymous donor at the same fertility clinic in the mid-1990s. Priya was the one who said the quiet part out loud first. 17 of us have found each other in the last year alone. Clinics back then weren't supposed to let one donor be used anywhere close to this many times. Something about this isn't just a coincidence anymore. I told my parents that Sunday at their kitchen table, the same table I'd done homework on for 18 years. My mom started crying almost before I finished the sentence. My dad just went very still. She told me the truth in pieces. They'd struggled for almost 6 years before I was born. My dad's fertility was the reason, a medical condition from a childhood illness that neither of them had ever discussed with me. Not once in 29 years. They'd gone to a fertility clinic 2 hours from where they lived at the time, chosen an anonymous donor from a paper profile, and been assured in writing that the donor samples were used sparingly and confidentially. "We didn't tell you because it never mattered to us," my mom said. "You were never anything less than completely ours. We didn't know how to have that conversation. And then so much time passed that not having it felt easier than starting it." I asked my dad directly if it changed anything for him, knowing there wasn't a biological connection. He looked at me like the question genuinely hadn't occurred to him as something worth considering. "You're my daughter," he said. That was true before any test, and it's true now. Sorry we let a piece of paperwork from 30 years ago make you doubt that for even one night. I believe him completely. That part of this, at least, I'm not confused about at all. What I am confused about is the number 17, and growing. That group chat has added 4 more half-siblings just since I joined it 2 months ago. Several of us have started quietly comparing notes on the actual paperwork. Our parents were given, at the time, consent forms explicitly stating the donor's samples would be limited to a small number of families. language that clinics were legally required to include even then. If 17, soon to be 20 plus, biological children have been identified from one donor at one clinic, someone didn't follow their own paperwork. Whether that was a clerical failure, a deliberate decision to profit off one donor's samples repeatedly, or something else entirely, none of us know yet. The clinic in question closed down years ago, which complicates getting real answers. A few of the group are now looking into whether other families are owed some kind of formal accounting of what actually happened. I don't know yet if I want to be part of that, or just quietly grateful for the family I already have and leave the rest alone. My relationship with my dad hasn't changed, not even slightly. If anything, that conversation at the kitchen table made it stronger. But I now also have 17, soon to be more, biological half-siblings I never knew existed, scattered across the country, all of us quietly trying to figure out what, if anything, actually happened at that clinic 30 years ago. Would you want to know if you were one of them? Would you want to track down the truth about the clinic? Or just let it stay in the past? Tell me your honest answer below. Part 2. What we found out about the clinic. And the first time I met one of my siblings in person is coming.